This morning at 5 a.m., the gentle still breeze seeped into my room, awaking me from my short sleep. Still laying in bed, my mind drifted away. Away to how my life totally changed for the better, through my friend, Ade. 5 years ago, Ade and I were sitting outside after class, the usual spot where we'd complain about life. It had become a routine, talking about how school was stressful, how the lecturers were unfair, how there just wasn't enough time to do anything. But that day, he was quiet. Too quiet. "You good?" I asked. "I failed the test," he said. I didn't know what to say. It wasn't his first bad grade, but this time, he looked different, frustrated, but not in the usual way. Normally, he'd go on about how the test was too hard or how he didn't get enough sleep or some other excuses. But this time he didn't say any of that. Instead, he sighed and said, "I didn't study enough." That's it. No excuses. I was shocked. This was the same guy who always had a reason for everything. But now, he just sat there, staring ahead like he had just realized something big. At first, I didn't think much of it. People always say they'll change, but a week later, they're back to the same habits. I figured this was just another one of those moments. But the next day, he was in the library before anyone else. And the day after that. And the day after that. At first, I thought he was just trying to make up for the failed test. But then I noticed other changes. He stopped spending hours on his phone. He cut down on social media and Netflix. He started working out in the mornings instead of sleeping in. He even stopped complaining about how unfair things were, he just found ways to deal with them. One time, I asked him how he suddenly had the discipline to do all this. He shrugged and said, "I got tired of hearing myself complain." That stuck with me. Months passed, and he wasn't just improving, he was thriving. His grades shot up, he was more focused, and he looked healthier, both physically and mentally. It was like he had unlocked a new version of himself. One day, a lecturer who used to criticize him for being lazy called him out in class, not to scold him, but to praise him. I've seen a lot of students turn things around, but this one right here? He's different. I sat there, realizing something. I had been watching him change, admiring his progress, but I was still in the same place, making the same excuses. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about all the things I had blamed on circumstances, bad luck, or lack of time. But the truth was, I had never really pushed myself. So, I stopped. I stopped blaming my environment. I stopped telling myself I'd start tomorrow. I started waking up earlier. I started showing up even when I didn't feel like it. I started holding myself accountable. It wasn't easy, but it was simple. And just like him, my life changed too.